And hello, welcome to another episode of Smarter Privacy Podcast by the Digital Safety Group. Today we're going to be talking about the latest software update from Apple iPhones. This is the software version 15 onwards, and how it is changing how your phone works. The photos on your phone are no longer only seen by you, but are also being scanned by Apple. We will talk more about this.
Well, Hayden, when I heard you mention about an Apple phone, the first thing I thought about is, wow, I don't have one, but I know Apple. They make some of the most privacy-related products. I mean, heck, they won't even let you go out and buy anything you want and install it on the phone. You got to all get it through the Apple Store. So what do you mean that the phone, if I take pictures, other people are looking at it? What does this possibly mean?
So what Apple are now doing is they are trying to defeat child pornography and have built a mechanism where it will scan images that are on people's phones and to check if they are known or appear to be child pornography. And if they are, will then the phone itself will tell upon those devices and send a message to Apple saying this phone could potentially have child pornography on.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I know as an attorney, there's always been a tension in the world. We all want to stop children from being hurt or exploited, but we also want privacy and law enforcement, search warrants, and all the good stuff that we read about all the time where we're trying to balance legal rights. But this sounds like a pretty important change that Apple's contemplating taking a phone that we all thought kept everything private and in effect allowing, under certain conditions, allowing people to see the photos that are on the phone.
Yes.
And then if they're bad photos or illegal photos, take some kinds of actions.
Yes. We don't have necessarily concerns about child pornography. Obviously, we want that to be removed from the planet, the globe, and any type of existence. Our concerns at the Digital Safety Group is how it can be evolved. At the moment, it could be child pornography, but it could be used much later for text messages that you have on your phone that you're sending, that as governments or political agencies dislike, and use the same mechanism to say we don't like your political ideas.
And I understand from some of the recent reading that Apple has backed off of implementing this right now, but it's still kind of in the works about whether it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we want you to appreciate this little bit of knowledge is to demonstrate one of the things that we've repeated in almost all these podcasts, and that is that you're living in a world in which there's social media platforms and devices, and you have no control whatsoever about how that device is manufactured or how it works, and marketing forces lie to you about what the device is doing all the time. And we all know, I mean, Hayden and I have done a lot of seminars where we make fun of the fact that today everybody knows, well, delete on a computer doesn't mean delete. We all know that now. We're very, very smart people. But what the heck does it mean then? And why is there a delete button in the first place? And who was going to tell us that delete didn't mean delete? And why did we buy a machine that has delete on it? And when did they change that so it didn't mean delete? On and on and on.
Yes.
So in this instance, from this podcast, we wanted you to just get an insight that Apple is possibly changing the features or character of this thing called an iPhone, a thing that maybe you thought did some stuff. It kept your messages safe. It encrypted your pictures. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what it did. That's what you told it was done. And now we find out, without ever calling you up or mentioning anything to you, thinking of changing all that. That's the world of the digital devices. It happens all the time. And the only way in which you can be safe and private in a world in which the environment is changing without your asking permission or input is to have a relationship with somebody, almost like a reputation manager or whatever.
Yes.
It does, a relationship that says you are working with people who are constantly trying to make certain that you're safe and you're private in a world that's changing all the time. The things I think you were talking about with the iPhones are what? They're less than 3 months, 4 months old, aren't they?
Right. Yes. It's very. We are starting to see this genie is out of the bottle, and devices. At the moment, it's Apple, but it's going to be other manufacturers. It's going to be other carriers all across the planet with different political, mechanisms that they have in place. Of where they can say to the phones, this is good, this is bad, and using the device that you have in your pocket to rank you as a person within their ranking system, not yours.
And I think you've told me a couple of times Apple has got just one of these operating systems for the entire globe. It's
Yes.
not as if they can make things different in China or things here. So for the purposes of our group of people that we're talking to, if you are trying to live a digital life in a digital world, this podcast, I would hope, gives you some insight into even the global partners that you've got are not looking out for your interests many times, and the solutions about what to do. There's not a piece of software you can buy to make all this go away. There's not a switch you can throw. There's not a configuration issue you can do and make everything fine. You're just stuck in a world in which the change has to be managed, and that's why we suggest that you approach privacy as if it were a thing that needs to be managed, coordinated, and worked on all the time amongst the devices and social networks.
Yes.
So that you can get to a better life.
A more private life.